Hi everybody, welcome back. This video is going to take a look at the third in the series of the Scarborough Rescue Service helicopters, which is the Mistral. So as you can see here, this is from qwop. This is a medium-sized search and rescue helicopter. Let's take a quick look at the images in the workshop. I love the way they kind of make these like technical images like that, perfectly straight on. Yeah, I really like this helicopter. It's all-weather medium search and rescue, twin turbine. It's got, I don't know what, yeah, this is a more electronic flight information system, I assume. So it's basically a glass cockpit, 11 passengers, so it's much bigger. You can actually pick up quite a lot of people. And you can see here, there's a more complicated startup procedure. We looked at the Loon in the previous video. That's the trainer one, so that's a single engine helicopter that is really aimed at getting you used to the systems you have in these larger ones here. So I'm going to do the same as last time, basically have a quick look at the outside, and we'll do a section cut. This is kind of more useful on the ships I look at, but you can see here some of the inside kind of logic. We've got beds here, we've got large cockpit here, space for the turbines, engines and auxiliary stuff at the top. Actually really interesting to do, which I didn't do in the previous videos, is to look at the logic. You can see how much work these builders put into making these things operate. So basically all of these connectors are connecting a logic circuit or an instrument display to some kind of piece of hardware. So you can see here, this is all of the electronics, tilt sensors, all this kind of stuff in the back. We'll probably have the engines up here, so gearboxes, you can see clutches. There's so much that goes on into making one of these things work in Stormworks, so kudos to the creators. I'm going to spawn her in. Yeah, so much larger helicopter. The usual flares and things on the outside. We have doors for passenger, pilot, co-pilot, and we have a larger sliding door on the outside. See, and even a step for the winch people. So it should be less jeopardy than we had with the previous one. The smaller ones, of course, you just have to pack everything into a smaller package. So it's much harder for the creators to do that. When there's less blocks to work with. These larger ones start to get easier to use. We even have a button here to close the door because there's some space for us. So you can see here all glass cockpit, much more advanced and spacious cockpit here. So a quick look around the inside, much larger cockpit, glass cockpit. I'll look in the back actually as well. So much more space. The other ones pretty much have 4 seats and not much else. So we've got equipment in here. Proper medical bed so you can heal people, winter clothing, cables, ropes, handheld equipment here, loads of stuff on this. This is a really useful all-purpose search and rescue. We even have a nice handle here, which is going to come in useful to get back in, I assume. So yeah, really useful to have firefighting and diving equipment in the helicopter, so you don't need to pack it before you go. So let's get in. Let's go through the startup. So parking brake is there. It's slightly different. Winch controls. I have flown this a couple of times, but it's good just to get familiar with it. And then we'll work from back to front. So batteries go on first. Heater, don't need. Heater, don't need. Gen sets on. We can already unlock rotor. It's good to do that before. Instrument backlights are good. Avionics we need. Fuel pump, hydraulics, it's cabin light, so they're all back. Cockpit light, don't really need that at the moment. These are silencing the cautions. Hydraulics, engine on, cabin light again, that's for the back. Formation lights, I love those. FADEC master, so this one's slightly different. FADEC, as far as I understand, controls how much power you're sending to the blades. Beacon lights, not all helicopters have this. Navigation lights we don't need during the day. Landing lights we don't need during the day. and this ADIRS is really important. This will make her stable. So that's the turbine kicking in. As far as I understand, this FADIC engine mode is the same as switching between idle and flight mode on other helicopters, and then finally I think you've got heavy lift mode, which is 3. You can see there, idle, flight, lift. So we're in idle just now, let her warm up. All instruments are on. You can see here fully electronic display. It's not always completely obvious, but these are touch screens, so you can actually flip between different modes here. Just pressing E. So we can see our fuel, I think that's our fuel load at the top. We've got a working radar. This cam link system allows you to link to other vehicles in the collection to see their cameras. And this is your camera off the nose, which is a much more advanced system. You can even track things. You can have this stabilized. You can have infrared. You can fire a laser out to track and lock onto things. So it's very good if you see somebody in the water or a vessel and it's really stormy and you want to track that. That can be extremely useful to help your rescue swimmer jump in. So let's put it back onto our compass, and we'll then go to engine mode F for flight. So you can see it's torqued up here. It moves around a bit as it stabilizes itself. Let's take the park and brake off. Yeah, so larger helicopter, parking brakes, where were that? That was that one in this case. That's our gear. So yeah, I can just push forward on W, give it a little bit on the collective, and you can see she starts to roll out quite fast across those things. So it's actually wanting to take off, much more powerful. So I'm just going to take off here while I'm rolling, tapping up, and you can see there she settles into a kind of equilibrium pretty quickly. As I said, all of these ones drift, but they basically try to auto hover. So they come up, and then a system of logic in the controllers here basically puts into auto hover. This one is cool. I'm going to do the gear up and then go quickly outside. So you can see there, oh, it's very quick, that gear. Such a shame. Wow, this is more or less instant gear. Yeah, so looks like a Pucca rescue helicopter with the gear. We're going to do our speed test, and we'll come back to the mini peak there afterwards. So this is a more powerful helicopter. All of the Stormworks helicopters, they basically, you set your height, and the logic tries to keep that height there, 137. So even when you're putting your nose down, when a normal helicopter would dive, if you had your nose down like this, unless you corrected with a lot of collective, it doesn't happen at Stormworks, but this just makes them much easier to use. And basically, Stormworks is about doing missions, rescuing people, maybe doing that in multiplayer. So I'm gonna bring her up a bit just so we don't crash into that bridge. So she's already at 187. So the Brizo, the basic one, was 130 knots, then 150, I think. For the Loon, this does 190, so significantly faster. You can get places. Oh, there's actually a little rescue boat, which is nice. One of Spider's creations, which is standard in the game. And we'll bring her back, so we've already gone so far. It's pretty cool. I find I over-rotate there, so I use the rudder pedals, and some of these helicopters kind of over-rotate, but that's just because I'm used to DCS, which has got us. See that boat just crashed there. So there's some potential for slightly better AI, of course, but we're all looking forward to Stormworks 2 these days. Yeah, so she's rotating around to the left there. So some of them have just slightly odd behavior when you're flying. It's very hard to get all the logic to work on these things. I'll just slow her down a bit, probably fly a bit better. So you got to realize it's not a flight simulator with real kind of physics. The creators here have done loads of work with the logic to make it feel like it's flying like a helicopter, and that's important to remember. If you come in here expecting flight simulator kind of behavior, it's not really got a physics engine that simulates flight physics. It's just kind of some people using the logic in very clever ways to make it feel like it flies somewhat like a helicopter. So just remember that. Right, so that was a little bit of a longer run. She's so fast. I'll bring her into station over the mini peak. As I said before, usually I want to see a shadow, so I've got a reference. So that's me off the controls. She will get into station. So this test, I really go into here to see if it can keep stations. I'm going to go straight up to 60 because I know that all of the small helicopters can handle 50, so this one should be able to as well. I think we got up to 70 on the Loon, which was the single turbine helicopter, so let's try 75. Yeah, so you can handle 75, and let's see 80. 80 is good, shadow's still there. 85. Right, so big helicopters, significantly better station keeping ability. 93. Pushed off very slightly, so I reckon 95 is probably her limit. Hard to get that slider to work. So you can see there she's tilting into the wind. Obviously there's no gusts or anything like that. Gusts would be much better simulation. So she can do 100% wind. So that's an amazing performance. Let's put it down to just something a little bit less hurricane-like, so 70. And we'll do our winch test. So the winch test is to see if in single player you can get out of your seat and if it's possible to do some winch operations by yourself. Oops, our door has failed. Let's try again. Yep. We've got winch operator controls here. We've got a spotlight. We could actually do that's underside winch. So let's just jump in as the winch master. Lower ourselves down. Oops. Sometimes this is because the wind is so strong. The guy's just being blown directly out like that. So let's just turn this wind down to something a little bit calmer. Alright, now the physics has got me flipped over, if you see. Yep, there you go. Wasn't anything to do with the wind. So yeah, I can winch myself up and down, no problem. Now the big test is, can I get back in? So actually nearly went completely in by myself there. So I don't think I can jump down onto that step, so I'm going to do what I said before, which is to grab with E, let go, and then this one, yeah, lovely. So I can just swing my figure around using the mouse. You can see I'm actually inside now. Let go, and that's super easy to get back inside. So this larger helicopter's, as expected, much better for those kind of operations where you want to winch yourself in. So let's just rotate round, bring her back in for a landing. So do gear, and I'm just tapping the keys to kind of make her fly nicely and relatively smoothly. Again, if anybody knows a good way to set up controllers for this, please let me know. So, and when I say good, I mean easy. I went through the axis assignment. There's too many things to set up. Right, touchdown. Put the brakes on. Well, let's roll this in. No, well, let's not. Let's just keep her outside. Parking brake is there. You gotta hold it. And then we'll go for a shutdown. So usually this is batteries off. This has actually got external power as well, which is really cool. So engine off. So there only seem to be one engine switch. That's fine. I'm not going to do this super professionally. Put that rotor brake on. Open the door. Get out for that quick look around. So I'm assuming this is fully refuelable like the other ones. Looking for a door here. Ah, yeah, I seem to remember this before. It wasn't very obvious. I had to look around this one. There wasn't an obvious way to refuel. So that's the only thing where, yeah, the sensors. There's no obvious way to refuel. Nothing up on the top. Is there a door in the back? Sometimes you have a little door. Alright. So it's a little black mark on her that there's no obvious way to refuel. Maybe there's even a flap which opens on the inside. That would be cool. But I can't see an obvious refueling place. So sorry about that, guys. Nothing on the bottom of the doors. No. Yeah, sorry, no obvious refueling place. Otherwise, really powerful helicopter. Can fly in 100% wind, keep station. I forgot the speed already. It was 190 knots. So fast. Both underfloor winch for craning operations and this harness here for winching people up out of the water or mountainsides. And yeah, great creation. Please let me know in the comments if you find a refueling place for this. That would be fantastic. Cheers for now. Bye.